Hi folks, welcome back for yet another Dead Matter video. Recently I've been covering weekly updates and taking a dive into certain features of Dead Matter in a bit more detail, in an effort to give you an insight into the finer points of how the game will work. In this video I'll be doing just that with weapons and crafting mechanics, as well as covering the info we've been given by Reggie in this week's update. As always, I'm going to start with the state of the closed alpha. Reggie states that whilst the team can't say much about the roadblock preventing release in itself, he can say that significant progress has been made over the past week and that the team are getting there. The team have been hard at work on optimizations, bug fixes, and polishing the game ready for closed alpha in the meantime. Kyle has been hard at work on polish passes for the infected navigation and pathfinding. He's also been working further on the improvised fortifications we saw in previous updates, specifically when it comes to snapping items together when building. Alongside that, Dave, the team's sound designer, has been working with Kyle to implement a sound effect when crashing a vehicle. I'll give you guys a second to take a look at that before we move on. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd say that sounds pretty convincing, all in all. Next up, we look at Gunslinger's work, polishing the system behind thrown items. Players can select desired items they wish to throw from a radial menu, then press the grenade throw button to continue throwing the item until the stock in their inventory runs out. Gunslinger has also helped with adding in some new weapons. There's a particular item that we've got some footage of with this update, and it's the Molotov cocktail. The footage you're seeing in the background is from this update, showing the gradual spread of the Molotov's fire and the fact that there's no phantom splashes of fire spilling through walls, which is something I'm glad the team have considered at this stage. Now, this is where I'd like to take a bit of a dive into some of Dead Matter's mechanics. Improvised weaponry would naturally be an option that survivors in a zombie apocalypse could take, and things are no different with Dead Matter. An example of what we've seen in the past was your traditional zombie killing modification of a baseball bat, which was jammed full of nails for maximum damage. That's a good start, but Dead Matter is proving so far that it wants to be a bit more complex than this. Molotov cocktails are a great example, of course, and gives us more creative ways to deal with large groups of infected quickly. But there's a new revelation from this week's update, which really takes the cake. Riz has been working on a much requested melee weapon, the katana. It looks awesome as it is, but there's an interesting twist which I don't think I've seen in any other game in the survival genre. Players will actually be able to manufacture their own katanas with the appropriate materials and tools. So we're not just looking at a plank of wood with some nails jammed into it, but crafted blade weaponry. On top of that, there is also a tactical variant of the katana and a selection of colours for the standard version. Melee weapons are a big part of most zombie survival games, but it's clear that Dead Matter is trying to give us a much bigger variety. Hammers, baseball bats, katanas, axes, even the oars from a rowboat. In a real-life situation, you'd grab whatever was nearby, and Dead Matter looks as though it's aiming to replicate that experience as best as possible. Just a quick note that I'd like to make as well: if we're seeing one craftable throwable item, we may see others in the future. It'd be really cool to see things like crafted grenade items or a pipe bomb, maybe a kitchen timer that can be thrown to cause a distraction for the nearby infected. Who knows? There's a range of possibilities, and I'm excited to see where the team takes this moving forward. So it's safe to say that crafting is going to be a big part of our survival experience, but it's particularly interesting in terms of how this affects our weaponry choices. Currently, it's planned for there to be two types of crafting available: things you can craft or modify on the fly, or things that you'll need a workbench to craft. For example, hammering a set of nails into a baseball bat can be done pretty much anywhere. However, slapping together a homemade flamethrower, which is planned, by the way, or converting a rifle body will definitely require a workbench and a handful of tools. I'm unsure of how AI-controlled safe zones will play into this, but it might be a nice touch to see these safe zones allow the use of their crafting benches if we have a good reputation with them, so that nomadic types of players will still have options for advanced crafting without needing a workbench of their own. Next in the update, we take a look at Hax's work, who has been doing more work with the Edda pistol. He's been busy squashing bugs with some animations and getting more soundscapes set up through the game world itself. Stefan has also been hard at work with the Edda and has finished texture work on the model that was highlighted in the previous update. Seeing the weapon fully textured, I'm seriously looking forward to getting my hands on it in-game. Dogtooth has been working on polishing up the player and infected face models as well as face morphing for NPCs. This will help the various AI we'll encounter to show a bit more emotion during conversations and even firefights. Nomad has been working with the existing base fortification system, adding further barricades, reinforcements, and utility items that the player will be able to construct within their claimed base locations. This will help us to not only protect, but better utilize our space. Water collection barrels, storage solutions, and ramps to help us with a high ground advantage are all mentioned in this update. Lockable doors for the exterior walls are now available to provide the avid hermit with extra protection for their hovel. Barricading is also becoming a bit more diverse. Up until this point, we've only seen newspapers and wood being used to cover windows, but we now have metal bars as an alternative as well. I would assume that these are the strongest of the options to keep players and infected out. On top of that, we've also got the choice of a simple chain, a wooden bar, or a sturdy metal security bar for securing doors. Again, I would assume that the metal bar is the strongest option. That's it from me this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching this week's video, and if you're interested and enjoying the content so far, you can subscribe to the channel for more Dead Matter videos just like this one. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.